ما أريد من هذا الشعب إلا أن يزيد في الحمد والشكر إلى الله عز وجل، ويزيد من محبة الوطن، ويزيد من العمل ومضاعفة العمل لما يسعى فيه من خير له وللدولة والأهل. هذا اللي أنا أدوره من الشعب، وربنا إن شاء الله يوفقنا جميعا على ما يحب ويرضى.
We are, so as Prop AI, we are proud to be a Dubai-born prop tech. We would like to thank the leadership of this country.
Welcome everyone to Pearls of Union, a program that sheds a light on the brightest minds and most inspiring figures in the UAE. In every episode, we dive deep into the journeys of exceptional individuals who turn ambition into achievement and challenges into opportunities. And one of those successful personalities is our special guest for today, and she is Ms. Ranime Skaff, the co-founder and the CEO of Prop AI. Welcome, Ms., and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a true pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It is our pleasure to have you with us today in our show. So today it's an opportunity to talk about your company as well as to talk about your journey and discover your career. So please, in the beginning, can you tell us about the turning points in your educational background and also in your professional experiences?
I do come from a little bit of an untraditional background. If you want to think about me ending in real estate, I actually have so I'm Lebanese. I have a bachelor in biology from the American University of Beirut, and then I went and got a master's degree in health management and policy. Then 13 years ago, I moved to the UAE and joined McKinsey as a management consultant. And for the first 3 years I was here, I was doing a little bit of everything. I was a generalist, so I worked in all the different sectors across Dubai and Saudi. So I did go a lot to Saudi back then as well. Then in 2015, I went to Harvard Business School and got my MBA and came back in 2017. And when I came back, I rejoined McKinsey. And as part of my journey then, I started working a little bit more in real estate and infrastructure. So I was working on the big projects of real estate in Saudi Arabia and on a lot of the infrastructure projects here. When COVID happened, and the entire way of doing business happened, I wanted to also to do and try something else, given that my entire career had been in consulting. Yeah, so I joined a private equity fund that focuses on healthcare. It was at the intersection of healthcare and real estate. So I spent some time there learning a little bit more about real estate and how it happens in the region. And a couple of years back, me and my co-founder, who we had met at McKinsey, were having dinner one day and we were discussing a little bit of the challenges that we were facing. Yeah. And this is where the idea of Prop AI came to exist. So I decided to take a leap of faith. I left my job and started Prop AI when I was full-time. And he was part-time, and then he came and joined me full-time as of last year.
Perfect. So from biology to real estate, I think that you have a passion for property and real estate. How was the first step? Of course, always the first step were the toughest steps ever. And as a female entrepreneur, I'm sure that you have faced many struggles and challenges. So what were the difficulties and the tough moments that you have faced, the tough moments that tested your determination?
There were for sure a lot. Entrepreneurship by itself is not easy. It's quite a difficult path. I have that conversation with my husband all the time. And sometimes I tell him, I don't know whether, had I known that it was that tough, I would have started it. But sometimes ignorance is bliss. And I'm right now very grateful and very happy that I took that path. There was definitely a lot of difficult moments. Moments that were difficult, but at the end turned out to be rewarding, which is quite nice. When we started 2.5 years ago, we also started in an ecosystem that was, or let's see, during a period of time where funding was becoming more and more difficult, and raising and fundraising was becoming more and more difficult. And we're very happy to have survived that and then gotten the funding that we have received. But overall, if I am to start from it, I think at the beginning, you start from an idea. You're very excited about what you're doing. It's very cool. And then everything sounds so simple until you start, and then you start the execution. There were a lot of personal challenges as well as professional challenges. In terms of personal challenges, it was a completely different way of doing things. I was always an employee. I had ownership, but you were always an employee at the end of the day. When you start your own thing, the level of responsibility and then how much you need to adapt to it is a completely different.
Leaving your comfort zone and test in a new thing is absolutely difficult.
I remember the first thing so we got our first checks, we had our first believers, we were very, very happy with it. And I remember having to spend money for the first time when I didn't know whether more money is going to come in. And that was really a testing moment. And we had people who were actually pushing us and helping us with that. But for me to make that decision and hire the first person, that was quite difficult because I'm like, I'm going to hire that person. He's going to leave his job. He's going to come. He's going to join. I'm going to be able to pay him his salary for the first 3-4 months. I don't know whether I'll be able to pay for the 5th month. So that was kind of a responsibility that you don't think about it at the beginning. And then you jump. And then, of course, you learn to adapt. You learn to manage these things. But that was quite a challenge for me at the beginning. Also moving from strategizing to execution. Another big challenge was we always want perfection. We're always chasing perfection. But when you're starting your own company, if you keep on chasing perfection, especially in terms of product, you will never launch. You will never send your product to the market. And accepting that you are going to go into the market with a product that is not perfect, but yet listen to other people tell you it's not perfect to make it better was a bit of difficult for us to accept. So that was also something that we had to adapt to. But having done that for a year and for a couple of years now, I'm getting more and more comfortable with it, but it's quite nice. It was a nice journey.
Yeah. And who stood by your side behind the scenes? Who have impacted your career and your journey?
Yeah, I'm very grateful and happy for everyone who I had surrounding me. So I have, of course, my husband, who was super supportive. I think if it wasn't for him being that supportive, I wouldn't have done that. He was the one who always told me that that I have this passion about building things, and then maybe I should try another career. I have, of course, my parents and my family. They were always there. They were always supportive. They were one of the people who wanted to invest at my company at the beginning. I was the one who said no because I wanted to leave family and business apart. I think my co-founder was definitely, even if not behind the scene, it was very much on the scene, but you mentioned something about being a woman entrepreneur. I think being able to have my co-founder there, who was also super supportive in everything that we're doing. And finally, I have to say, there were investors, there were mentors, there were people who were early believers in the idea. When I remember, I go to them with a piece of paper and an idea there, and then being able to have that trust to put some investment in us was definitely it was a big responsibility for us, but it was also a big push to see that people believe in us from the beginning.
Let's go back to the first step of creating this company. How was your feeling at that time, and how was the first step?
I didn't sleep for a month. It was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of passion. We wanted to get things done. There were so many things to do, but at the same time, it's scary. And then having those two feelings at the same time is something that will keep you up at night. But it was definitely, there was a lot of passion going in. There was a lot of excitement of wanting to get things done. There were things that you wanted to push, that you wanted to do fast, but then you cannot, and then you need to go back and recalibrate. But building something is just, I don't know how to describe that feeling.
To launch your products in the market and
so I remember at the beginning, the building phase is, I think the first time it hit me was during GITEX September 2023, I want to say, and then we were launching the beta version, and we had like 50 people there, and we're just talking about our vision and talking about what we're launching, and we said, you know what, it's 8 p.m. in 30 minutes, please open your phones and put on, enter the website and then start using it. And I was very scared, but I was also very emotional, because this is something that you have been building for a year or so, and then starting to see the fruits of it is amazing. I don't know what else to say. Pride is definitely something, yeah.
So your company's AI-driven property evaluation and decision automation have reshaped the market and the industry. So what were the key technical and data challenges, and how do you address them effectively?
Yes, there was definitely a lot. I want to say challenges, but at the same time opportunities, because as you had mentioned earlier, it's always the challenges that you turn into opportunities. So if I am to think about it, as you had discussed, what you had mentioned, what Prop AI aims to do is to facilitate the decision making in real estate. And this means either for investors or help brokers with the right data, with the right information to be able to communicate with the right tools, or for let's say developers who also need this information. In order to be able to do all this, you need to put a proper layer of data there and build on top of it. So before you build anything, like you want to develop an AI, an agent, you don't want to just go to ChatGPT or OpenAI, because these feed from the overall, let's say, the internet. So you have 15 sources for the same question. If you ask the same question about real estate in Dubai 3 times, you get 3 different answers. How do you know what answer is right? So for you to be able to build that trust, you need to put a layer, a strong foundation of data. Data here, it exists, it's fragmented, it is not structured, it's not clean. So it was about being able to properly data pipeline it, put the pipeline in place, and it was also about cleaning it, getting it to the stage where it needs to be in order to give the smart answers that we needed to answer. Building backups was also different. Like if one pipeline fails, you need on the spot to get something else. So it's just a very complicated layer of data that we had to build. And then on top of that, you go and build other AI agents, you go and build other tools and information in order to be able to get the right answer. But your question is spot on. Data has a lot of challenges, and this is what we're trying to solve here.
But you achieved 3-fold revenue growth in the first quarter 2025. So what key strategies and factors that driven this rapid growth?
I think we were very lucky to see that our product was well received, but I also think that since we built the entire thing on data and information, the big element I want to say there is trust. So people needed, it was a clear pain point in the market, and it was a growing market, but people needed that element of trust. Buying real estate is one of the biggest investment you'll do in your life. So you don't want it to be a gut feeling, you want it to be data driven, and this builds the trust. And I think this is one of our strategies that we put in place. I think at the beginning we started by oversharing information, and we needed to recalibrate back to the level of information where people need to know. And I think that trust factor is definitely something that helped us grow significantly. with, of course, a very strong and solid team who believed in the mission, believed in the vision, and was heavily invested in making this happen.
Earning the Dubai AI seal is a testament to your innovation leadership. So how has this recognition enhanced the trust with partners and clients?
It definitely helped. So we received it, I would say, 5-6 months ago. It was a very nice surprise. We had applied for it, but I think just getting the AI seal by itself is a recognition of the fact that it's not just an AI wrapper that we have on top of things, but we actually have depth, we actually have vision, and we actually have the tool and the technology that is there in place. And we have proved that our product is a product that is valuable in the market, and getting the recognition that is happening from the government and getting that stamp of approval was a clear validation for us that what we're doing is the right thing and we're heading in the right direction. It was a clear signal for the market that we are a company that can be trusted. It helped us with the partnerships when we go to developers, to brokerages, the ability to say that we actually do AI and we do AI properly was definitely helped massively in building those partnerships and building that trust in our brand, in our company.
Perfect. With your mission to build the Bloomberg of real estate, so what are the key strategies to make this vision a reality?
We do have a big vision and we're very proud of it. We do believe that real estate has not been disrupted to the level that it needs to be disrupted. We have seen in the 1980s how stocks were traded via calls and via brokers on the phone and with very little information. And then Bloomberg came and changed this by giving people access to the right data, to the right information, and to the right structure that is instantaneous and on their fingertips. And real estate here, Dubai is the city that is the most dynamic, or let's say the most liquid in terms of real estate. The number of transactions that happen in Dubai are higher than the number of transactions that happen per month in any city in the world. So people are transacting 17,000 transactions every month, but still this is happening with outdated data or very limited access to data. And this is why we wanted to build the Bloomberg terminal of real estate. How? What are the strategies? Data first, data second, data third, always. Proper data, clean data, well-structured data to get us there. Then we need to build the right interfaces, we need to build the right products and the right way of digesting this data. So we had people who work in machine learning, data engineering, economics, to be able to understand data that don't usually speak to each other, but understand how all of these can actually come up with the right conclusion. We want to keep doing this here. We want to put this tool, so we started with the customers, the investors. We realized that if we want to do the impact that we want to do, we should get this tool into the hands of people who actually shape the market. Those are the agents. So now we are developing the prop AI business and putting it in the hand of the agents so that they have the tool and the data in order to speak the language of the investors and get them the right information. Then we're going to go to the developers. We already work with the Dubai Land Department. They are one of the first people who believed in us and then helped us in order to govern the market. So this is the reach that we want to get. Then we want to get into the entire value chain. So we started with the discovery, now we're going to go to the agent, eventually we're going to get into how to change the way sales is happening. We started in Dubai, we want to expand. We go to Abu Dhabi, we want to go to Riyadh, but we want to start from the hub where it's super dynamic, we learned a lot. It was an amazing learning experience, and take those learnings into other cities and countries.
And you are already expanding in the MENA region and also into Europe. So what are your future plans? What is your next step?
Next step is we're going to start with our neighbors. So next steps is Abu Dhabi for sure. Then Riyadh, in the past months or so, they had announced already that in January they're going to open real estate investing for foreigners for the first time ever. So we see that there's a massive need for us to understand that market, to get that data and to be able to communicate properly for the first time investors in a new country like Riyadh. Or like Saudi, in a new city like Riyadh. So hopefully the next step would be Riyadh. And from there, we do have a plan to get into into as many cities as we can. We're building a playbook in order to understand how do we get into a city from building the relationships to getting the data, which are the two big important things, and then we will hopefully replicate it.
So, Miss, based on your experiences, what words of encouragement or guidance you would like to convey through our episode to the new generation and also to young entrepreneurs aspiring to build a career in the same field?
Sure. No, thank you for giving me the space to be able to say these things. I think I have learned a lot. It's been an amazing journey that has gotten me here. And some of the things that I believe had helped me get here is curiosity, resilience, and basically just humility to learn as much as possible. So what I would say is take that jump. It's a very rewarding journey, even if tough. Try it out, push your boundaries and take risks, because more often than not, you will be very happy with the results.
So 13 years here in the UAE has for sure contributed to your success story. So what is your appreciation message you would like to convey through our episode to the UAE and its rulers?
So as Prop AI, we are proud to be a Dubai-born prop tech. We would like to thank the leadership of this country for building the ecosystem that would allow any ambition to actually thrive and get to where we want to be. It's not just policies, it is support, it is infrastructure, it is the ambition and the vision that they have for this country through AI or economic development or any of the other initiatives that they have put in place in order to allow us entrepreneurs to get to where we want to get.
Thank you so much, Miss, for sharing your success story, for being a part of our program. It was my pleasure talking with you today. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Dear audience, this is the end of our episode. Watch us next week. Goodbye.